Hey everyone, this is Tony Song, Diabetes CEO here, and you might see that things look a little bit different on my face, and I wanted to document a couple of things on this video. First, all the dots on my face, and actually here, let me show you my hands. That's pretty crazy, huh? That is due to a viral infection called hand, foot, and mouth, and usually it's a viral infection for that usually little kids and toddlers get, but it can also be transmitted to adults. And my daughter, who works with young kids, got it herself, and she gave it to me and my son. And the only person that doesn't have it for some reason is my wife, and we're kind of keeping her away, kind of in a quarantine area of the home, so she hasn't gotten any of it. But one of the things that I experienced during this stages of having this viral infection is a sense of neuropathy. And I wanted to describe some of that for you. You know, I don't have neuropathy. I've had diabetes for 10 years. I've kept my my blood sugars in a pretty good range, and I haven't felt any kind of discomfort in my feet. So the only way I really knew what it feels like to have neuropathy, which is basically pain in your feet due to diabetes, is through other people's experiences and words. And so one of the things that people say to me is, you know, it feels like that it's burning. Sometimes it feels like stepping on golf balls, tingling. One person actually told me that what it feels like is, and this was pretty drastic, but he said that it feels like you're stabbing your feet with a knife. Especially, he said, when things roll over your feet. Say, for instance, your sheets on your bed, when they roll over your feet, like you're pulling them up, that sensation of that sheet going over your feet makes it feel like there's just stabbing in your feet. So I wanted to go over what neuropathy is, and basically, neuropathy is developed when you have uncontrolled blood sugars over a long period of time. And what happens is that the blood sugars that are above where they're supposed to be actually are damaging the nerves in your feet. And what happens when they get damaged initially is they're kind of screaming at you. It's almost a mechanism of the body to tell you, hey, there's something going on here you got to take care of. And that results in pain. And all these things that we just talked about, right? The stabbing and the numbing, actually not the numbing, the stabbing, the tingling feelings, the discomfort feelings, pins and needle feeling, and that's basically your body or your nerves telling you something's going on. You got to figure this out. You got to do something about it. But what happens over time is that tingling and stabbing and pain disappears. And the reason why that disappears is because the nerve eventually says, oh my God, you're not doing anything for it, and I'm trying to go through this, you know, this process of staying alive. But at one point the nerve dies because it's not being taken care of. And when it dies, that's when the numbing happens, right? So then you lose partly feelings in your feet, and that could be really dangerous because, you know, pain is a sensation that really is kind of a warning sign for you to do something. So if you don't have this sensation of pain in your feet, then what happens? If you get a cut, if you get a sore, if you get something that usually registers as pain for you to look at, it's not there anymore. And if it's not there anymore, then what happens? You ignore it, you don't know it's there, you kind of go with your daily life, and that sends a problem in the sense that if you don't take care of it, you don't know it's there, and you don't present it to your doctor, let's say if it's an infection, then that infection just becomes worse. And when it becomes worse, then it can get really bad to the point where it gets to be a gangrene situation where the infection spreads and the only way to get rid of it is by maybe surgically getting rid of it, and heavy doses of antibiotics over a long period of time before it actually completely heals. And in some cases, and in a lot of cases in fact, if that doesn't happen, then amputations happen. And that's why they say that the number one reason for non-traumatic amputations in this country is not diabetes, uncontrolled diabetes, right? So and so when I went through this, right, it affects your feet too. And when it affects your feet, it actually mimics, I'm thinking, how it feels to have neuropathy. It's like having neuropathy for a week, which is, that's a crazy thought, right? I can only have it for a week, which is fine by me, but man, was it painful. I couldn't walk. It felt like needles and pins, almost like when your feet fall asleep, and then how you feel that the tingling and needles. It almost feels like that, but I'd say at least 3 or 4 times worse. And of course, it doesn't go away. I mean, every time you walk or move or even have sheets that go over your feet, I felt it. It was painful. So I just wanted to give you that experience, kind of let you know, those things. It's hard to understand without actually having neuropathy, and I'm sensing that I felt a little bit of that today or this week, and I wanted to share that with you. Neuropathy and really all complications of diabetes to a certain degree can be prevented and definitely can be slowed down. And I want to make sure that you know that that's possible. Don't wait. If you wait, it's just going to get worse, right? So we don't want that. We want to nip it in the bud, get it before it actually becomes a big problem. Just like your nerves are saying, "Hey, help me, something's happening." If something is like that, then you need to take care of it, because if you don't, neuropathy things will happen, and of course, bigger problems ensue. So, anyways, that's the video today. I want to make sure that you got an idea of what it feels like through my experiences of what neuropathy could feel like. Just FYI, when it comes to this thing, foot, mouth, and hand disease, they say it goes away naturally in about a week. I feel much better today than I did yesterday and the day before. It actually starts off, just for some of you that have never experienced this, it starts off as a light fever, like almost like you don't feel well, and then you have a fever, and then next thing you know, you get these little things that are coming out, right? And then they just get worse and worse, and over 3 days or so, it's pretty painful. At least for me it was. I don't think it is for toddlers, they say, but for me it definitely was. And eventually it becomes less and less painful, and it looks like my immune system is fighting it off, and it takes about a week and a half for it to actually go away. But definitely don't want anybody to go through this. Definitely stay away from kids that have hand, foot, and mouth disease, because this is what you can get. Anyways, but it's curable. There's nothing to treat it other than ibuprofen, Tylenol, and maybe some Benadryl. That's what I took. But I'm feeling a lot better today. That's for sure. I'm not looking better. That's for sure. Definitely not looking better. But I definitely feel better. And I hope this kind of gives you some idea of neuropathy and hand, foot, and mouth disease. And the more you know about your health, the better it is for you, because you'll know exactly what's happening and what to do. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks.